Hello, everybody. Welcome to April 2nd today. This is Quality Sewing and Vacuums. How do I? I'm Andrea, and today you may have noticed that I am wearing a scrunchie on my wrist right here. Well, this isn't just any scrunchie today. I have 3 girls, and when I showed them the scrunchie, they were all super excited, already making plans for it. You see, when you look at this, it looks like a regular scrunchie, but there is a zipper. See if I can get the zipper to work. Look at that! There is a little hidden pocket inside here where you can store lip glosses, money. My 8-year-old will probably put more hair ties and all of her little toys and stuff that she wants to smuggle around with her. Anyways, it's kind of in plain sight little storage pocket for all kinds of fun things. So let's get to it. I've got some stuff already cut out over here. I'm going to lay this aside and we'll get started. Today, one thing that we're also going to be doing is we are going to be using an invisible zipper foot. And so this is a great small, simple project that you can pull out your invisible zipper foot and experiment with. And it's a scrunchie, so if it doesn't turn out perfect, it'll be okay. You can make like 5 of these and get really good at mastering your invisible zipper foot skills. Okay, so let's go over to my piece of fabric here. This is about the size that you want to get a scrunchie this size right here. That just goes around my wrist. I've got like an average sized wrist. So I'll show you how to measure the elastic in a second. But this is 21 inches long right here. If you want more bulk to your scrunchie, you can make it longer or shorter if you want a smaller one. But just average, just for your average scrunchie, it's 21 inches long and then it's 4.5 inches wide. Now, if you like one of the skinnier scrunchies, you could do it a little bit narrower, but if you want with the zipper in it, I suggest making it at least 4.5 inches wide so you can get your goodies and your little treasures inside of that. Okay, 21 inches long, 4.5 inches wide right here. Now I just brought in a pack of invisible zippers and you can see how lovely long they are. It really only needs to be about that long. So I'm going to show you how you can take any zipper and make it the size you want to. This one, it looks like, is about 6 inches long from the very little ends right here to this end. It's about 6 inches. We're not going to use that total width right there. You'll only need about 3 or 4 inches to actually open it up inside. First thing we're going to do is let's alter our zipper. So let's go over to the sewing machine and I'll show you how. Okay, I'm using the FOF Quilt Expression 720. There we go, we'll hook it up. I just have it on a regular stitch of 2.5. I did set it up. I press this little button right here, and this button tells it that I want to start with a knot. I want to end with a knot. And yes, I'd like you to cut when I press my little button right here. So I'm just going to use my little measurement right along here. And that's 6 inches right there. So I'm going to slide it back a little bit and kind of slide it in there. That gives me, I'm going to stitch right here, but then I'll cut it down at that 6-inch line. That makes sense. I'm going to start really close. I'm going to start really close to the teeth right here, and I'm just going to start and kind of end right over the teeth. So I'm just kind of doing a little stitch right over that and making a knot. So when I unzipper it, it doesn't go any farther than that. All right, that's about a good spot. I just tap on my pedal down below like that, and that tells it I want the foot to go down. I've set it to start on that knot, and one more, it goes and does its knot, and then it starts going forward, and right there, I'm going to tell it that I want it to also make a knot. So it's going to stop right there. And just like that, we've made our little knot right over those teeth. And so our zipper will not open any farther than that. How awesome, right? Okay, I'm going to take my scissors, like so, about a ½ inch or so away from that area. I'm going to clip up to the teeth, right about there. I'm going to clip up to the teeth, right about there. And I kind of twist it. If you have, I don't know if you're like me and you have a designated crummy pair of scissors to cut through things like a zipper or your horsehair braid or things like that. If not, I go all the way to the back of my scissors and I cut back here instead of up here. I want to keep my tips really nice and sharp, so I send that to the back if I need to cut it. Ta-da! Now let's move back over here to my little ironing board, or my mat right here. So this is a really long strip of leftover zipper right here, and I'm going to keep these. This is also a leftover zipper. Look at how cool those are. You can stitch these together and use these for embellishing things that you don't really need the zipper for, but that are just fun. So I'm not going to throw those away because I do things like that, right? Okay, so now we have our little invisible zipper. Ta-da! I'm going to unzipper my zipper. Maybe. Just like that. I'm going to flip it over. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? We forgot to trim our little ends here. So I'm going to just trim those off because nobody likes to deal with those little ends. Okay, I've got my zipper open upside down. So I don't see any teeth on the top. This is the right side up. The wrong side up, you can actually see the zipper teeth right here. I've got my iron on. And I'm going to give it a little press, and I'm going to press open those little zipper teeth just a little bit. It's hard to do it upside down on this without putting my hand in the way, so you can see. I just want to move it over. Okay, there we go. There we go. We're going to iron those open just a smidge. And this is going to make installing this zipper lightning fast. There we go. Ironing that right open. Ta-da! Okay, so we've got that part ironed open. And right here I'm using the light Steam-A-Seam 2. It is 1/4 inch wide. And I really love this tape. It is sticky. I'm going to measure it out about right there. And I'm going to measure another one. I really love using tape when I'm putting in a zipper, because it just leaves, because you're working with such small seams, the small zipper teeth, it's really going to hold your zipper right in place, right where you want it. Okay, get the little zipper thing out of the way. And because it's sticky already, you just kind of place it on there. Right like that. Look at that. Yes. You just can't go wrong with this tape. I'm going to move this tape down just a little bit. I want you to start right at the end, right there. There we go. Move this down like this. Now, do you have to use tape? Absolutely not. You can just put this right on your fabric and install your zipper lickety-split. But for today, I'm going to show you this, especially if you're not super comfortable with and you've never tried your invisible zipper foot yet. I do suggest any kind of tape that's gonna hold it in. You can use temporary, you can use permanent. It's your choice what you'd like to do. You give it a little iron, like so. One side, flip it over to the other side. Iron that open just a smidgen more. And I have used some tapes that are like so hard to get off. One thing that I really like about this steam seam is it is that easy to get off. Some, it is like almost impossible to separate the backing off of the glue. Okay, and guess what? It's still sticky. Look at that. It's still sticky. It's so fabulous. Okay, with my right side up, I am going to, okay, I gotta think about this for just a second. I always have to think about it. Which way is it going to go? So we want, nope, there we go. That's the way we want to do it. I'm just picking a spot in the middle, the general middle of where I want to install my zipper. So we're going to install the zipper first. Okay, so the teeth you want facing up. So obviously my tape is going to go down right there. And raw ends together. So teeth to the inside, raw edges together, raw edge, raw edge. Oh, yes. Won't ironing melt the zipper? Good question. I haven't melted a zipper yet, and I have been ironing my zippers for many, many years. A lot of times when you get in your zipper, it's like if you buy it in a package, it's like bent in half, and you have this really big, like wonky dent in your zipper. And it's, if you try to install it like that, it's awful. But I just take my iron and I just go right over the top of it. And this is like medium heat right here. And you can even flip it over like so. I think because it's made out of nylon and all kinds of good plastic stuff, they don't melt, which is amazing. Good question. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, we'll keep going. Okay, so we got this one side lined up. We're just going to go right over to the other side. Sorry if my arm's in the way. We're going to make sure those two sides line up like a hot dog. I'll switch this over here so you can actually see. And keep in mind it's a scrunchie, so everything's going to be kind of wadded up anyways. It's kind of loose interpretation. Okay, I just want to make sure that generally it's on either side, and it's this end is even and this end is even, roughly like that. And we're going to go over to the machine and we're going to install this zipper. Okay? All right, I'm going to set this here for just a second. Now, usually the invisible zipper foot doesn't come with the machine, but right now with the FOF Expression 720, it has a little package of a little special package with this, the purchase of this machine, and the zipper, invisible zipper foot comes with it. I'm going to show this to you here. Let's see, I've got some dark fabric here. This is actually like a clear plastic foot right here. And it goes this way. Oops. If I can hold on to it. There we go. It's got like a little point thing, and that's going to point towards you when you install it. Now, if you look at the back of the foot, it doesn't have an opening like this one does. You see how there's an opening in the back right here? That's for the walking foot, but we are going to disengage the walking foot, and I'm going to raise it right in the back there. I just pull it down and release it, and it goes up. I'm going to set this guy aside, and I'm going to install our little invisible zipper foot there. Now I'm going to use this. It's got like a little V right in the middle. So it comes down in the middle like this. So your zipper, the coils of the zipper are either going to go to the right or to the left of that little divider, I guess. Okay. I'll keep hold of this just in case. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think I put my tape on backwards. Now that I see, hold on, let's go back over to the mat right here. This is what not to do when you are installing this. Did I put this on backwards? I think I did. Ah, okay, so all the ladies that are filming are laughing at me. It happens? Oh, good. So we're going to, and I even put it on backwards on this, but we're gonna use this little guy because it still has its paper on. Okay, yes, okay, now I see why. Okay, this is what not to do with your invisible zipper. Okay, so instead of putting it on the back, we're going to put that tape on the front. Ay. I'm sorry, I made this like last week, and so I should have made it like this morning. So I would have been so fresh of where to put the tape on. Okay, we're gonna do this again really fast with our little yellow zipper right there. Wouldn't that have been funny if I'd installed the zipper upside down for everybody? That would have been awesome. Glad I caught myself right now. Okay, I hope you're all laughing with me. Isn't this great? Okay, that's a little long. I'm going to trim that off there because I don't want any extra goo on there. Now I just have to remember which side is what. Okay, we got this. This is going to go by so fast now. So with that other one, with the other zipper, I would just go and put the tape back on top of it. And then, see, I still have the tape on this one. And I'll put the tape back on the other zipper and then install the other side on there too. It's going to be so fabulous. It's not going to go anywhere when it's all done. Okay. So like the other one, I'm going to roll the teeth aside a little bit and give it a little press open those teeth right there. I'm going to roll these open as well, give that a press right there as well. We're going to take off the right side. So when you look at your zipper, you need to put the tape on the side that has your zipper pull, like that. Okay. That's the right way to do it. Don't listen to what I did first off at the beginning. Okay, there we go. That one's on there. That one's on there. We'll try this again. Wasn't that so great that we could put that tape on there and then just whip it off so fast again? Okay. We're going to iron that on there like that. Actually, I'm going to try and bring it over. No, I'm going to bring it over this way. Just easier. Okay, we're going to give that a real quick iron right there. Good thing I had a backup zipper just like sitting there, right? Just in case. Okay, I'm going to test these out, make sure the ends are pretty much where they match. Good. Okay, now let's go over to the machine and for realsy sew it together. We got this, right? Okay, so when you come to the machine, you need to have the coils up because those little coils go into the right side or the left side. Okay, let's wake it up here. And I'm gonna sneak this in here. We're gonna, actually, I like starting from this side, from the top here and coming down. and then I'll switch it over and I'll show you how to move the needle from one side to the other. Okay, we're going to roll this open. I'm going to start with it here. We're going to put the foot down. And the teeth I'm going to roll over to the right there. And actually, I don't need to even move the needle. The needle needs to go right in the middle because the coils are going over to the side. And this will stitch right beside the coil. Okay, it's going to start with a knot and end with a knot. I'm fussing with my fabric to make sure I don't get any weirdness, any wrinkles or anything. I'm going down as far as I can. I've met my zipper head right here. So I'm going to press this button. I'm going to tell my machine that, yes, I want to stop right there. Okay. We've got one side. Now I'm going to open the other side, like so. And I'm going to put the coils in the left side now. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is the teeth are starting right here, or they end right here, I should say. So this is kind of the little tail part. And I'm starting with the tail right here, starting and stopping it. And the coils are going to the left. And you can see how fabulously easy it is to put in an invisible zipper. For so many years, I was so afraid of putting in an invisible zipper. And then I actually went through and read the instructions of how to do it. And I was like, what was I afraid of? It's kind of like making rice. Forever I was afraid of making rice. And it's so easy. So is an invisible zipper. They are incredibly easy to install. Okay. And you have installed your invisible zipper. How cool is that? Okay. And then we just zip it. It's hard to do it from the inside. We'll have to do that later. Well, when we flip it out, it'll be easier to unzipper. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to change out the foot back to our regular foot. I'm going to set this guy aside right there. I'm going to put in my regular sewing foot. And I'm going to put down my walking foot because I really love that walking foot. It makes things so beautiful and even. I'm going to make my two zipper ends even right here. Right like that. And I'm going to see where my zipper teeth end. They end right here. Even though I've sewn out this far, I'm going to sew back this far to sew up these sides right here. Super easy. Well, you can pin it, but I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay, my hand is in the way. Get my hand out of the way. I'm going to slide it underneath there. And I'm just going to sew out to the end. Easy peasy. Right towards the end. And I'm going to do this with the other side. I'm just going to sew up that other side right at the other end of the zipper. So I've got our zipper opening right here. I'm going to fold that so it's easier to fold these. We're going to slide that underneath there. Actually, I'm wondering if we can close this zipper. I'm going to try and close it a little bit more. Maybe. It doesn't like this angle. Poor zipper. Oh, actually, I see why it's not closing very well. I caught the very end of this zipper. That's one thing you have to keep in mind with sewing in an invisible zipper. If it's not quite zipping very well, it means you caught there's like one little tiny stitch in the teeth, and that's why it wasn't sewing right there. Or it wasn't going through the zipper. There we go. See, now the zipper wants to go. It's hard to do it inside. So there we go. We moved it. So if your invisible zipper isn't like zipping all the way, it's probably because you got one little stitch into the teeth. And so you just go and you check that and you trim, you cut out that one little stitch, and then you're good to go. Okay. We're going to slide this under here. And so where we ended, and we've got a little knot down there. We're going to finish this side up. Okay, here we go. It's going to go a lot faster now. That we don't have to redo the zipper anymore. Okay, so now you've got your long tube, just like so. We have our zipper installed, and we've stitched up the two top sides. Now, one thing that I have learned with making a tube that's finished like this, if you like put your ends together and it's the raw edges out and it makes a tube, it's not going to look like a tube when you pull it inside out. So you have to, in order to get finished insides, so they're all inside and making a tube, it has to look funny, which I'll show you what I mean by it looking funny. I'm just going to pull these off. Doing. We're going to pull one side through like this. And I'm going to put it all the way through the other end. And we're going to match those little ends through the very center. There's like a bazillion ways that you can make scrunchies, but this is just my favorite way because it makes a complete circle. And there's no raw ends, and there's no weird just stitching in the middle of it to make it lumpy. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see this, but I stuck that end. I just pulled it through and matched it up with the other end inside of our scrunchie here. And I'm going to take these little ends that make a little tube like that. And we're just going to stitch around the inside of the tube. There we go. I got all the ends to match. And if it doesn't 100% matchy match, it's okay. It's a scrunchie. I'm going to stick this under the foot, and it's like just barely big enough to stick under the foot. And I'm just going to stitch with like 1/4 inch. And I apologize, I might have to get my hand in here as I'm stitching. We're just going to stitch all the way around this little tube. I'm turning as we go. At 1/4 inch. Look at how nicely it's sewing through all of this though. And just like that, we just sewed around the little ends. And so all these ends are going to be totally encased inside. Okay, So if it looks like an inside out hot dog, you're doing great. It's supposed to look like that. Okay, so now we can just pull this right out. Bloop. And just like that, we have our tube. That's all encased inside with our little slide, a little zipper spot, right like that. Oh, look, it works great. Ta-da! Okay, so I don't use any fancy ways to measure my elastic. I just go around my own wrist like so and leave a little bit of a tail on each side. And I say, yeah, that's about good. Like that. You can take a bodkin, you can do all kinds of things to get your elastic through the tube here. Right now I'm just taking one of our little quilting clips. It works. You can use a bodkin, you can use a safety pin to help it go through. Through. It's always the hardest part, is getting it through that seam right there. I'm going to take one of my other little clips and I'm going to clip that end, the raw end right there, to the zipper because I don't want it to slip back through. Then I'll have to do it again. We're almost there. We're almost done with our secret pocket zipper scrunchie. You've stayed with me this long. We even made a mistake with the zipper. And we're almost done still. How cool is that? You can make all kinds of these for your friends. Oop, I just pulled that right off. But good thing I caught the little tail. Ta-da! And now we've got our tails in there. If you want to sew it, you totally can. I am just going to take those little tails and tie a knot because sewing through elastic is not my favorite thing to do. Especially with like little tiny ends like that, it's not super fun. Okay, there, just like that. And then you can slide the tie, that knot, around to the back side if you want. You can kind of slide that around. But just like that, you have a scrunchie. Look at that. Ta-da! Okay, we'll turn around here. Thank you for bearing with me today. I hope you learned a lot. I would love for you to leave comments down below. See if you try this yourself. Let me know if you have any questions. But simple and easy way to make little hidden zipper scrunchies to hide all your little goodies in. It would be fun to put little treats inside, especially if you've got like, I don't know, high school team of girls, a dance team or something. Do it in special colors, but do it for your friends. Put little candies in there. Do little special things with them. So I hope you had as much fun as I did and learned a ton about installing a zipper and had fun doing it too. We will see you next week with Quality Sewing and Vacuums. How do I?